another match point.
Incredible third set here.
They changed their strategy a little bit and they fought their way back in.
There it is. Game, set, and match.
Hello and welcome to the 2024-25 APTA Tour. We're live from the Orchard Lake Country Club in Birmingham, Michigan, bringing you the Detroit Invitational Grand Prix with live streaming brought to you by the APTA membership, and our tour supporting sponsors, Volley and Corian. Tournament support has been provided by the following local sponsors. We have Bank Rifkin, DAG Partners, Lux Homes, Oakland Hills Men's, Ladies Paddle Ladders, Orchard Lake Thursday Night Guys, I want to meet them, Oswald Company, Relax the Back, Viking, Marsh McLennan Agency, Jack McNaughton, Zimmer Biomet. I'm Patty Hogan, along with the one and only Dr. Detroit, John Jeff Hodges, bringing you round of 16 men's action between Adam Morgan and Graham McNerney against Chris Davis and Lincoln Wirgau. Welcome, Dr. Detroit.
Well, thank you so much, Patty. It's great to be on this broadcast with you. And it looks like that Chris Davis is in the blue jacket, I believe. And your friend Graham just left the court. I used to have a partner, Will Higgins, who right when everybody was warmed up would always just go to the bathroom at that moment. It's weird. So
who's the chair umpire today for the match, Dr. Detroit?
Oh, that's Frank Willard. I'm sure he will do a great job. He's an old foe, but a friend.
The scoring for the matches throughout this tournament will be 2 out of 3 sets regular scoring. All backdraw matches are regular scoring with a 10-point third set tiebreaker. Jeff, welcome back to the paddle world in Detroit. Well, we are so happy that you're joining us for this match because you epitomized Detroit paddle way back in the day. I mean, you were so unique in the sport. I was lucky to have been on the court once with you. You're a national champion several times over, 3 wins in the men's 45s, a win in the national men's 50s, quarterfinalist in the nationals way back in the day where you went out to Hall of Famer Rich Mayer, his partner Bobby Kleinert. Welcome, Dr. Detroit. This is going to be fun.
It's hard to believe I really did that, you know. But anyway, I guess I did. And it's lovely to be here back at Orchard Lake Country Club. The last time I was here was when Will Higgins and I played Mansinger and Goodspeed in the finals. And we happened to beat them that day 7-6, 7-6, and then a month later they won their first national championship.
You vaulted them, one of the greatest teams in the history of our sport.
Well, I like to kiddingly tell them I gave them their last lesson before they won their first nationals.
That's right.
Yeah. I don't think they believe that.
How far was Flip grew up in where? Grand Rapids?
Yeah, he's a Grand Rapids guy. Another Michigan guy. What an athlete. Just one of the best natural athletes I've ever seen, amateur or professional. He is truly amazing.
Isn't he like a one handicap lefty and righty? That's how amazing Flip Goodspeed is.
Flip Goodspeed could have played 20 different professional sports. All of them, I think, if he really wanted to. But I've never played golf with him. I don't play golf. It's really kind of a silly game. So anyway, I love Flip, and he is just a great person as well as a great athlete. Well, I think we're getting ready, Patty.
I think we are ready. Looks like Chris Davis is going to start it off.
Yep.
And it looks like this is Adam Morgan. Good shot of Adam right here, returning, ready to crunch another forehand out of the deuce court, and we're off. Players started action early this morning. Graham and Adam had a bye, given that they're so good. That's how that works out, Dr. Detroit, as you know. They are the tournament second seed.
Well, I'm very excited to be watching both these teams, actually. The team on the other side is local guys. The guy not in the blue is the pro here at Orchard Lake, I believe, Lincoln. It's a little out, a little wide.
Beautiful day in Detroit. It's going to get to a high of 36, couple hours. Ideal playing conditions out here at Orchard Hills.
Yeah, it's basically perfect, except it could be a little cloudier. Love those cloudy days when we're paddle players. That's a good shot.
So a break right off the bat there, Dr. Detroit. This match, on paper, if I had $1,000 to bet,
you'd be betting it on the Graham and those guys.
Maybe all of it.
And Graham
that doesn't mean no. Davis and Wirgau, good players in this area, great regional players, and Lincoln's done a tremendous amount of work on this tournament. We can't thank him enough. He's one of the tournament chairs out here.
Right.
And we have a unique offering during this match, in that we're going to mic up the players a little bit. And right now, the one and only Graham McNerney has a mic, and let's listen in if we can for a couple of points.
Yep. I got it. Sorry. I mean, not sorry.
McNerney, Morgan, you see them lined up over there with McNerney off, and he'll be in the position to cover way more of the overheads. And Adam Morgan's mostly can stay on top of the net because of the height and reach of McNerney. So they are a phenomenal net team.
Yep.
And as you can see, when Adam takes over the overheads, you'll see a lot more of the rolling kinds of overheads from Adam.
Yep.
Hear that communication, Dr. Detroit?
That's great.
Graham. You. Nothing in doubt.
Does anybody ever call Graham Thor?
Yep.
They should.
He's got the hair. Nasty.
He's got the hair. He's got the drop shot. He's such a threat when he's up at the net and with that height. He's got that evil down-up overhead that just dies in the screens. So it's tough. It's tough to defend it, and Davis and Wirgau just probably have not been on the court that much with Graham just to see it. But they'll figure it out as we go through this.
Yeah, it does take a while to figure out certain players that bring a game that you have never witnessed before.
So that's Lincoln Wirgau serving. Another return from Adam Morgan.
Oh, that's a good shot.
Huge points are on the line this weekend for everything. The APTA Cup. Last year's winner was right here, Graham McNerney on the men's side. And current APTA Cup standings, which go throughout the course of the season, Jose Zalzar has accumulated the most points on the men's side right now, followed closely by his partner, Avi Regalado. Graham McNerney's in third place currently, and then Frazier and West. Back in the day, Doctor, they didn't keep things like the APTA Cup standings, but now with so many events, 19 tour events, the players not only have individual successes at each tournament, but their points accumulate throughout the season, and a big paycheck at the end of the season for the APTA Cup winner on both the men's and women's side.
That would have been nice in my day, but that's great. I'm glad they're taking care of these players who do so well in various tournaments that they get enough points to actually get some good money.
For sure. Hey, let's listen into Graham for 1 second here on this changeover.
Good.
Time out here, back. It's all right. Showing off the flow there. Completely intentional.
See, Graham knew he was going to be mic'd up and on the stream, so I think he used conditioner.
What's that?
Adam Morgan to serve. Chris Davis returning out of that juice court.
That is a good slash.
Yeah, so talk about having a lot of tools in your tool chest here. Morgan McNerney, really one of the top teams in the country. They teamed up this season, and as soon as I saw him play one time, I knew, everyone knew they would be a really, really good team. They are one of the teams that could win the national championships in Boston, not in Boston, in Philadelphia in March.
Yeah.
So they are really, the real deal. Adam had great partnership with Tyler Frazier. Graham has great partnership. Juan Araya most recently, all finished, top couple of teams in the country. These guys won. Morgan and McNerney won the Medina Cup, where they beat Ong and Wagner in the finals. They played the charities, and they beat everybody except for Regalado and Salazar, finishing second. So this is their third event of the season together, and they came in it to win it, Dr. Detroit,
Well,
just like what you always did.
They are definitely somebody that you don't want to see too early. They are a great team already, I can tell that. Very relaxed, too.
Doctor, in your day, if you won the toss, did you always serve because you had that jump serve of life? Did you want to serve first, I assume?
I actually preferred to return because I believe that when the first team that serves is maybe not quite as loose, and I felt like we had some good returns on our side, and if we're going to break them, that might be a very good time to get them when they're not totally warmed up in there. That's a heck of a forehand by Graham. Thor, I like to call him.
Or
Good replay.
Dr. The Detroit Invitational, as you know, is the second Grand Prix of the year. Boston is in January. Short Hills Club is in February. Nationals in March. So every couple months, we've got one of these biggies here. And in Detroit, we've got number one seeded team of Nunez and Salazar here. We get the return of the one and only team of Durant, Mitchell, three-time national champs together. They're here. Broderick and Christian are here after their big win last weekend in Long Island. It's going to be an exciting tournament over the next couple days, and today will be a paddle marathon. We're expecting some bad weather in Detroit tomorrow, and so we will play all the way through the men's semifinals. Don't go anywhere. We'll be on the air till 10 o'clock tonight.
That's probably a good idea. They're playing everything a little bit early because playing in the rain just is not fair to all the teams. Changes everything.
No fun. So, not surprising, Morgan McNerney off to an awesome start. Because, Dr. Detroit, they don't miss. You know, they get out here, and these other guys, I mean, Wirgau and Davis, they're good players. But
Yep.
you can see Morgan and McNerney walk on the court, mindset, don't miss, don't miss, don't miss, and they work themselves into the match. And let's listen in on a couple more points here from Graham, if we can, before we go to our first sponsor, Reed.
Okay.
Help me. Nice point, guys. Sir?
They are so relaxed and very confident.
They're so calm. I think you're breathing heavier than Graham is.
I'm older. Ooh. Love that shot.
Work on that one.
You could just see he was so close to the net, set it up, had a poor lob out of that ad court that he just took advantage with that drop cutter.
I don't like people apologizing for the net shots because nobody's ever been sorry when they won a point by hitting the top of the net. That should be changed in the rules. You should lose the point when you apologize.
No, you apologize when you're mic'd up. Yeah, that is a great screenshot of Thor. That his hair, they have everything flowing here in the early going in this round of 16 match.
That's tough. Yeah, excellent.
The winner of this match will play the winner of Hirsch Wagner, Murphy Schneider. They're playing, alongside, and the top half, and that's in the bottom half of the draw, with winner of that match potentially coming out against, it could be a number 4 seed team of Broderick Christian, but there's a couple teams who might have their say, and they'd have to get through Page, Thaler, or Gregorovich and Ostoich. So many talented high-level players here in Detroit.
All right.
So, Doctor, I'd love to hear a word from our sponsor.
Yeah. Did you know that Volley has thrown 5 million balls to players working on their game? Don't get left behind. Get your reps in with Volley, whether it's day or night. You're in control of your training. Volley offers world-class training on demand, helping you sharpen your skills and level up your game whenever it fits your schedule. Ready to join the movement? Start training smarter with Volley today.
That's Graham McNerney serving alongside Adam Morgan, up 5-0. 16's action. That's a good shot. Deuce court. Chris Davis in the ad court. Tournament co-director, Lincoln Wirgau. I'm Patty Hogan along with Dr. Detroit.
Hello.
The only paddle doctor I know. How'd you get that name, Doctor?
A man named Brian Hewitt, who was a sports writer for one of the Chicago papers and a player, gave it to me long ago. And it was because I think I was a little bit different kind of player and I had a bit of an attitude. Anyway, Brian Hewitt ended up being a commentator on the Golf Channel and did very well there. But I did not choose the name for myself, but I've learned to wear it.
We spoke about Detroit Hall of Famer, Flip Goodspeed. What about Susie Keene? Remember the day we all played, Jeff?
Oh, that was so
many,
much.
many years ago.
I couldn't believe how good you were. I was thinking, well, there's this little tiny girl. We're going to kill them. And that was not to be. But we had a great time. Susie Keene got to play against me for years, 3 times a week. And she started being able to return my serve every time with her great forehand. And I told her every time in the Nationals, every serve she gets, she better kill it with her forehand. And she did.
She killed her with her forehand. She killed her with her backhand.
Yeah.
It didn't matter.
No.
formed Doten and Keene, one of our game's all-time great women's teams.
And Mary was great at charging the net and picking it off.
Well, there's a lot of sorries from Graham that he's winning this. He's kind of controlling the match. He's hit a lot of the overheads. And Lincoln and Chris are hanging in here. They definitely are. They got a big uphill climb trying to go for it, but, you know, it's almost an impossible climb against these guys because, like we said earlier, they do not miss. And McNerney Morgan with their first set point. You know, I like that. Lincoln's trying to force the play against Graham, but the problem is you can't get in a hands battle, and that takes us, that's the first set, 6-0 to McNerney and Morgan. We'll be right back in just a moment after these messages right here on the APTA YouTube channel presented by CSM Media.
At Corient, wealth management begins and ends with you. We believe the more personal the solution, the more powerful the result. We treat your goals as our own. We never lose focus on the life you want to build. And our experienced advisors design custom-built strategies to help you get there. It's time for a wealth management experience as sophisticated as you are. It's time for Corient.
Welcome back to the APTA Tour. We're here at the Detroit Invitational in Birmingham, Michigan, bringing you a round of 16s men's action between Adam Morgan and Graham McNerney up against Davis and Wirgau, and I am Patty Hogan along with the one and only Dr. Detroit right there. And if you like listening to Dr. Detroit, go to Spotify, go to YouTube, look up an old tennis player, John Jeff Hodges. He's got a phenomenal album he shared with me last week called Detroit.
It's called From Detroit, and you got to look up John Jeffrey, Jeffrey. Just in order to find me. But it's good. Check it out. Graham and his partner are so relaxed.
Oh, yeah. So Lincoln Wirgau just held serve, Dr. Detroit. First hold of the game, of the match for those guys, and that tells you how good the return and baseline game is of McNerney and Adam Morgan. So I'm glad these guys are on the board. Big hold for Davis.
Let's go local.
And that's right.
But
that's Adam Morgan serving. He switched it up. I think I called him out one time because Adam's big Under Armour guy. And he usually has the great pants, but he's flipped it up with Graham today. Interesting.
I've noticed that Graham and Adam don't really switch sides once they're at net to get somebody's overhead to hit.
Well, they do. They typically do in a match that is more competitive.
Oh, okay. And who gets the left?
This would be Graham McNerney with that height and his variety of overheads, and he can hit that down up super effectively. He loves playing close to the net. You know, his wingspan is 747, and he can just go up, back, and he's got soft hands, so he can turbo the ball, or he can just put a pure touch finesse shot. He's got it all, Dr. Detroit.
Thor has got a hammer you don't want to mess with.
Thor, you know what Thor's got? Just think about those hands that Hank Irvine had way back in the day. I know he was one of your mentors, one of my mentors. I know you stay in regular touch with Hank.
I just talked to him yesterday, and he sent his love to you. And what I love about Hank is I always tell him the less he practices, the better he is.
Hank, an amazing a mentor for so many high-level players in the New Jersey area. Coach Boba Mangan, when she won nationals with Sarah Krieger. Big influence on Micah Gillespie. Big influence. Oh, Artie Williams, Pete Grunberg. So many New Jersey people. Had a lot of success thanks to the mentoring of Hank Irvine. Greg Moore,
Yeah.
his partner, two-time national winner together.
On Facebook, I occasionally put my tips of the unwritten rules of paddle tennis, and the one I just put on my Facebook recently was when Hank Irvine starts talking about the game, listen.
That's right. Dr. Detroit, when's the first time you saw the sidearm serve?
The sidearm serve from who?
Well, you see how Morgan is serving sidearm?
Oh, yeah, yeah. We've seen that a lot even in my day. 'Cause it would put a
Who served sidearm when you played?
Who what?
Who were the sidearm? Like, I hadn't really ever seen someone who stuck with sidearm before. You know, you kind of saw Johan Durant did it. Like 5 years ago, it started coming back in the game big time.
Yeah.
I don't recall anybody back in the day serving sidearm.
Well, the good thing about serving sidearm is the ball is not going to come up as much as it does with a normal serve. Hank Irvine, even though he didn't do it sidearm, was very good at just hitting the ball where you thought you could kill it. But if you tried, you were in trouble.
That's right. A master tactician out there on the court.
Oh, yeah. Whenever I do call him and he answers, I say, "Is this my idol?" And he says, "Yes, it is."
No matter who calls Hank?
No, I say that. Do you say that too?
I know.
No, I say that every time when he answers.
Oh, that's great.
I think he likes it. The experience in this sport means so much. I mean, as you can see with Graham and Adam, they are so relaxed and patient. And some of these teams, like this local team, they need to play for a couple more years to get that kind of attitude on there. I mean, you can just see it in everyone's body language. Graham and Adam, they're like taking a walk in the park, and the local guys are a little bit nervous.
And I think what you're seeing here is, McNerney and Morgan, whether they're baseline or the net, they got it all.
Yeah.
And you can see, when you get dropped, when Graham drops you, it just means a shot that you hit that works against your buddies on a Tuesday night might not work against one of the best players in the country. Even though you have a ball that you can hit a drive or a little chip low, it might not behoove you to do that, and you're far better off. You got to get the lob to push that player, the players off the net. And, I always say maybe with this team, McNerney's much more comfortable hitting a ton of the overheads and, make Morgan hit more of the overheads from, the position where he is on the court.
Right.
They just have to start figuring out how they can put a couple of points together to pull out a couple more games here.
Graham and Adam seem to have an answer for everything.
I think on the changeover, we'll listen in. I believe that Lincoln is mic'd up now, and we'll listen in on what they have to say.
Okay.
If he has anything to say.
Well, he needs a drink first.
Dude, we're getting it handed to us. Come on.
Silent type.
Okay, I don't think he's mic'd up, actually. We would have just heard that conversation.
Maybe it's just as well.
Good call. Women's action is underway. We have our country's #1 team of Burris and Elliott are in Detroit. We've got our team on the rise of Lopez Pajek. They're in town. Lopez and Page. We've got Hal Baller, Cincinnati's finest with Jill Jackson. They're in the draw. We've got Barron's Allison Morgan. A lot of fun action. And I believe following these matches, we'll turn to some ladies' play.
This tournament is loaded with the best men and the best women. It's amazing.
Okay, Thor can't believe he just missed that shot, Doctor.
Well, as well, he shouldn't believe that he missed it.
He may need an aspirin.
Well, I'm sure we can find one. That was a good roller.
Really good deep roller. Just kept the ball stayed down so low. Doctor, can you fill us in on some of the Detroit paddle scene, the clubs in this area? Can you give a shout out to all the clubs that were giving up their courts for this great event?
We've got this, of course, Orchard Lake here, and Birmingham Athletic Club, and the classic Oakland Hills, where the U.S. Open golf tournament has been played a few times. I think maybe the club BOH is involved too. I'm not sure on this side of town. All the clubs are involved, but most of them are. Nice try.
You know, it's amazing. You take Davis and Wirgau and you put them out on the court. Like we said on a Tuesday night, they would look like freaking rock stars, but you come up against the skills of McNerney and Morgan, and you can see this is the separation. The high level of our men's sport has so many of these really, really talented players. And to your point, you know, you've got to get out there, and it takes years typically for most players to kind of learn the ins and outs, the nuances, shot selection, positioning, all of that stuff. You know, it's a rare team like a Regalado Salazar, who just came out last year, lights out, made it to the finals of national championships. We have seen some super high level, you know, former pro tennis players come onto the tour, and they seem to have instant impact but for most mere mortals, they got to pay their dues, play these tournaments, come up against these guys, get it handed to them, and then just kind of figure out, okay, what else they're going to add to their skill set.
This sport is so much about brain as well as the athletic physical ability that the experience is necessary to get to the intelligence required.
Wow, can you say that 3 times?
No.
Well, you nailed it the first time. Silly me. That was well said, Doctor. So that's Lincoln Wirgau serving. Chris Davis in the light blue top. And McNerney far side ad court, otherwise known as Thor, or to be known as Thor going forward. And Adam Morgan, Birchwood Country Club co-director, in the deuce court far side.
Good move. Good poach there.
Doctor, your jacket looks great. Who'd you get it from?
I invited David Jeltsin to come play the Detroit tournament with me years ago, and he stayed with my wife, Sarah, and myself. And afterwards, I got this incredible jacket in the mail from David. So he's the reason. My old jacket, which they gave me in Indy, is ripped to shreds, and I don't know which back of the closet it's in at home.
Well, shout out to David. David and Deb love listening from up in Maine to the live streaming.
David is nothing but fun, whatever he's doing, wherever you're doing.
Let's hear from one of our sponsors, Corient, please.
Okay, Corient. Corient is the official wealth sponsor of the APTA's 24-25 season. Corient is a fee-only wealth manager who puts their clients at the center of everything they do. You can learn more at corient.com.
Awesome return to serve from Davis out of that deuce court, following the sidearm serve of Adam Morgan. Doctor, big weekend of paddle all around the country. Got the Mid-Atlantic Men's Classic going on. We have the Odin Cox Memorial event going on. That's up in Stonington, Connecticut. We have the New Jersey Men's League Classic going on this weekend. Unfortunately, we had a conflict, so some of our game's great players didn't make the trip to Detroit because they had to stay local this weekend in Jersey and represent their teams in the League Classic. 260 men's teams playing, and good luck to everybody playing there.
Wow, that's a lot of action everywhere.
Well, that's the thing, Jeff. With the PTIs in the sport, there's level events for every level in the sport now, and you know, it wasn't like that back in the day. And some people like the changes, some don't love the changes. But this way, these high level players, you know, are not out on the court for too long in the early round matches because, you know, once we get any men's quarterfinals on in big, heavy draws with great players, the matches go on and on and on, and 3 hours is the norm.
I definitely have noticed that. It's amazing.
So this match here, Morgan McNerney, you know, they knew from the onset that these guys probably didn't have enough tools to impact them in play. And they're being, you know, this is the thing about them. They're just playing here and getting off the court. They're just moving this match along. And if they can get out of here in under an hour, it's huge for them in what's going to be a really long day of platform tennis here at Orchard Hills.
Nice shot. This formation they're doing, when you serve the other way to the backhand court, we would call that the Australian. But I used to do that all the time. So I would be up on the net on the left side with my overhead, and we called it the Eurasian formation.
The Eurasian formation, Kat.
Not to be mistaken for the Australian formation.
Understood. Hold a serve, 5-1. Chris Davis serving. A big hole to come back from. We've got 2 streams going today, so once one match is over, turn on to our other live stream on YouTube. Enjoy the action. It's probably going to go till 10 o'clock tonight. What's your bedtime, Doctor?
Usually around midnight. You know, songwriters like to write kind of late at night. That's a good shot. There you go. 6-love, 6-1 for McNerney and Morgan. Kind of expected, I think.
Real efficient performance, Dr. Detroit. Thanks for joining us in the booth. That's a wrap from a men's round of 16 action. Stay with us for our next match. Women's play Thanks, Doctor.
Thank you, Patty. It's been an honor to be with you.
My pleasure. Thanks, Doctor.
Thank you.
At Corient, wealth management begins and ends with you. We believe the more personal the solution, the more powerful the result. We treat your goals as our own. We never lose focus on the life you want to build. And our experienced advisors design custom-built strategies to help you get there. It's time for a wealth management experience as sophisticated as you are. It's time for Corient.